Wooden Boy Pinocchio. Once upon a time in the Tuscany region of Italy, there was a humble woodcarver named Geppetto. One day, he found some beautiful scraps of wood and decided to carve a wooden boy. After chiseling away, he created a puppet and named him Pinocchio. When Geppetto finished painting the little wooden boy, he suddenly found him so adorable that he exclaimed, "Oh, this wooden boy is so charming and lovely," and sighed, "I wish he were a real boy." Fortunately, that night, the kind blue fairy heard Geppetto's wish and decided to make it come true. She waved her magic wand over the wooden boy and cast a spell, saying, "Awaken, little wooden boy. Now you have a soul." She advised the wooden boy, Pinocchio, always strive to be a good, brave, and selfless boy, and one day you will become a real boy. Then she called a cricket named Jiminy and said, "I entrust you to watch over and assist Pinocchio when needed." With that, she vanished among the twinkling stars. Geppetto was overjoyed to see his little wooden boy suddenly walking and talking. Excited, the very next day, he took Pinocchio to school like all the other real children. He affectionately said, "Goodbye, my dear son. Study hard and come home." However, Pinocchio was quite mischievous. Instead of listening to his father and going straight to school, he followed a puppeteer named Eater, who was very mean and tempted the wooden boy with promises of fame. At first, Pinocchio was thrilled to sing and dance with the other puppets. But when the show ended, Eater locked him in a cage. At that moment, the blue fairy suddenly appeared and asked, "Why aren't you at school?" Pinocchio lied to her, and his nose began to grow longer. The blue fairy told him that his nose would return to normal only if he told the truth. On his way home, Pinocchio encountered a large cart filled with children. The driver told him he was taking the children to the land of toys, where they could do whatever they wanted without anyone telling them what to do. At that moment, Jiminy the cricket tried to catch up to Pinocchio and advised him to go straight home. However, Pinocchio ignored Jiminy's advice and got on the cart with the other children. He arrived in a place filled with wonderful toys, where he met another boy named Candlewick. They indulged in sweets and played games until late at night. However, Pinocchio soon realized that this land of toys was meant for naughty and lazy children, and all of them would eventually be turned into donkeys. As Pinocchio began to grow donkey ears and a tail, he panicked and ran away in despair, with Jiminy, his loyal friend, following him. When they returned home, they found that Geppetto was missing. While they were confused about what had happened, a white pigeon flew in carrying a note that said Geppetto, while searching for Pinocchio everywhere, had unfortunately been swallowed by a whale and was still trapped inside. "I must rescue my father," Pinocchio decided, and he set off. When he reached the sea, Pinocchio dived down, searching until he found the gigantic whale, believing his father was inside. Finding a way into the whale's belly was not difficult. When he met Geppetto inside, Pinocchio was overjoyed but also filled with regret for everything he had done. Now, they needed a plan to escape from the whale's belly. Pinocchio started a fire, and the smoke grew larger, making the whale sneeze violently. So, father and son Pinocchio flew out of the whale's mouth. At that moment, Geppetto, after many days in the dark belly of the whale, was exhausted and weak. Pinocchio helped his father through the ocean, trying his best to swim and get him to shore. But once they reached the shore, Pinocchio collapsed, unconscious from exhaustion. Geppetto was extremely worried and took the boy home to care for him, but Pinocchio seemed unable to recover. As Geppetto mourned, the blue fairy appeared again. She helped Pinocchio wake up, praising him for being brave, quick-witted, and truly loving his father. As promised, she transformed Pinocchio's nose back to normal and turned the wooden boy into a real boy. From then on, Pinocchio became a good boy, living happily with his father for the rest of his life. The end.